The time is now if you're looking at bonds. We've got some rate cuts on the horizon today. We actually had a bit of a move down. We had a 2.5% move down, kind of completely wiping out my calls that I've got on TMF here. This is TMF, by the way, not TLT. So the actual bond movement was something like 0.75% down today, something like that. We'll see. But anyways, I'm not too concerned about that because we're going to see it likely come up tomorrow with Jerome Powell speaking. He's going to probably say something dovish and send this thing flying tomorrow. We'll see. We'll take a look at the economic calendar. So today we had initial jobless claims. That probably spooked the market a little bit because, as you can see here, according to Market Watch, jobless claims edged a bit higher today. Layoffs remain low, but it is a signal of a cooling labor market. But what you'd think that would send the bonds up a little bit higher, considering that we want to see, unemployment go up to give the Fed confidence to cut. So this really is just giving the Fed more confidence to cut, and actually gets me more excited about bonds, not less excited about bonds. So seeing it down today is a tiny bit confusing, but we do have Jerome Powell coming out tomorrow. He is going to speak at 10 a.m. Eastern time, 7 a.m. if you're on the West Coast like me. And that is likely going to send something. If he says anything dovish, this thing's going to go up. So I think they're just preparing today, shaking out weak hands just before Jerome Powell comes, back to ignite the market tomorrow. So that's something that I am expecting. That's what I'm thinking here. And of course, none of this is financial advice or a suggestion to buy, sell, or hold any asset whatsoever. Just my thoughts here as I look at these charts and events coming up. So the next thing I want to talk about, Bitfarms. Let's take a look at how Bitfarms is doing today. So this is after the acquisition. So they've made their acquisition now, and today it is down 4%. I find that a little bit interesting. Now, the overall market is a bit down today. A lot, like MSTR is not doing so hot today. Tesla's not doing so hot today. Nvidia is like barely holding on to its 128 level today. So not too much going on here. Now, there is a little bit of concern here in the Bitfarms chart. Now, let me go ahead and, you know what, I'm going to hide all the drawings. Let me hide all the drawings right now. So you see right here, I can't hide the drawings, I need them, right there, price collided with the mid-fib band as well as the mid-ATR band there at about 248, 247, and it came down. And we came up to it again on that purchase of Stronghold, and it is coming down again today. I don't like that. That feels like a lower high. If we lose on Bitfarms, okay, so if Bitfarms comes down below $2.18, so below $2.18, that opens us up to fall to $2 on Bitfarms despite this great news, okay? If we can get up above $2.43, that opens us up to about $2.85 and eventually $3 in the short term. Now, there is something else we're seeing here that is a bit, let me get rid of some of these drawings. Can you obey? How many of these are there? Okay, hold on. Oh, haha, I see what I did there. All right, get rid of that. 240, you know what? Yeah, I'll leave it there. Okay, it doesn't matter. Okay, we'll get the ray. So we've got a bit of and I'm going to go through that one a little bit. So we got a bit of a trend line forming here. I'm going to go kind of a bit lower than that one. I want to touch this one. All right. We got a bit of a trend line forming here, right above on Bitfarms. We really need to get above this trend line, this yellow trend line I just drew. Let me get rid of this one, $2 I'll leave on there, 135 I'll leave on there. Okay. So we want to get above that trend line on Bitfarms right now. That is posing a problem, right? It's coming up on it. It came up on it once. It held to it for a while, came down, came up on it twice, almost touched it. Now it's coming back down again. We don't like necessarily seeing that. This is forming something of a descending channel. Now, when it breaks the descending channel, where's it going to go? It's very quickly going to find itself around 320-ish. And if it conquers 320, we'll see it go into likely near the 4s again, just like back here in February that we saw. Now, that's pretty cool for Bitfarms. A little concerning for short term. Short term, a little bit like seeing some weakness, but I'm seeing some weakness in a lot of things right now as the market tries to figure out what's going on with rate cuts, what to expect in terms of like recessionary fears. Is the VIX going to spike again? Is the yen carry trade really, truly over? These are things that the market is trying to work out and decide what is going on with them. That's why we're seeing this sort of movement in the market right now when we're seeing things that would normally send us flying higher. we are seeing kind of weaker moves off of that. That's because the market is not entirely certain of what's going on here. I mean, we've got an election year this year. Right now, we are on the edge, the precipice of rate cuts coming through. We had interest rate hikes coming out of Japan that caused a huge crash. The market is still trying to figure out if that is done or not, and that's why even sometimes when we see some good news, we're not seeing a lot of big upward movement right now. We could even see, if anything else rears its ugly head, if we see anything that's like, oh, recessionary fear, we're going to see a knee-jerk reaction down. And for me, I'm going to be buying when that happens, and I'm waiting for it. I've got some dry powder on the side. I'm waiting for that to occur. Of course, that's just me. Maybe you've got some. Let us know. Do you have some dry powder on the side? What are you looking at acquiring if there is a pretty large downturn? Let's also take a look at Bitfarms. They had a pretty big day the other day. Are they holding it? Bitfarms is holding it. So it broke that. This is great. I can get rid of this. That's gone. This one, I'll keep that for now. It's holding it up there on the daily. That is good for Bitfarms. Let's go ahead and look at the fibs. Oh yeah, we're in the top half of this still. We're holding in the top half of this still. We're kind of moving up to that top ATR band, which is at $4.02 right now for Bitfarms. Bitfarms is looking good. I like where it is. I like where it is. Now, if this fails, like if we come back down at all underneath 337, we're going to fill the gap probably. But right now, I like this. I like this. It looks like we're going to make, a bit of a bull flag right here between 394 and like 356 or so. And we might, if it breaks above that bull flag, we'll be making a run for these previous highs here from July and see if we can't get any higher than them. And that's all off of that HPC news, honestly, because its Bitcoin production is kind of, abysmal right now. So it's really all off of their HPC news right now for Bit Digital. So if they fumble that at all, we're going to have a bad time. But they've been doing a very good job of not fumbling that. So let's take a look. And I think those are the only two I'm going to check out right now. I will come back this afternoon and do a little more review on, let's say, a little bit on the other miners that I like to cover here. I just wanted to talk about those two today because they had some big stuff going on, and I wanted to talk about bonds. Bonds are really important to take a look at right now. I know it's not our usual trade, but bonds are they're about to get ignited, and I think today was a sell-off purposefully to shake you out. I think it's a shakeout day. As long as we are above this yellow line here, 56.78, bonds are bullish. All right, and let me look on the weekly. How's this look on the weekly? Because I know the daily on this one's like, it's all over the place because a lot of stuff happens in pre-market since it's bonds. On the weekly, 52.44. We're still in this upward channel. We are beating up against this downward trend line here, this red one. So we beat this yellow one. That yellow one is done. Now we're up against this red one. If we get above this red trend line here, or not if, but when we get above it, it is going to be explosive up to $76. Okay, it's going to be explosive. So we're watching that. We're watching that. This thing's forming some, actually not too bad here. We got a bit of a head and shoulders coming through. So shoulder, head, shoulders, right? And if it breaks out of this area, we could see it come all the way back up to this, up to that 76 to test this resistance over here from early 2023 and late 2022. So that's what we're waiting for on TMF, but we are making an inverted head and shoulders here that will likely take us up to this pink line here, which is at 65.31. We might hang out there for a little while and then start moving on up to $76. Let's take a look at the monthly on this. I haven't looked at the monthly on this in quite some time. How's the monthly looking on? Oh, I like that. I like that a lot, actually. So let me get my touch screen going here. So the monthly showing a double bottom, right? We got bottom, bottom. We get above this line right here, which is 62.42, above 62.42, right? Well, maybe a little higher. Let me go ahead. Maybe a little higher than that, actually. Let's see, about 64.71, excuse me, 64.71, above 64.71, and we get above it and we close above it on the weekly. That is confirmation of that double bottom. We get that, it is, price is going to go up to this green line if we get that, okay? And especially if we get above that $70.05 range, especially if we get above that, that opens us up all the way up to $100 plus on this thing, if the monthly gets into a bullish trend there. Okay, so that's pretty cool. So anyways, that's all I've got for you today. Please like, comment, subscribe, share this video. Check out the Trade Cave store, link in the description, as well as the channel bio, and have a profitable day.